presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
It is a gorgeous afternoon here at Rogers Center. It's Junior Jays Saturday, game 2 of a 3-game set against the Baltimore Orioles. Blue Jays won 5-4 last night in dramatic fashion. They scored 5 runs in the first 3 innings and then held on to win it by closing out the Orioles in the ninth. It's 20 degrees here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the Orioles lineup. Manny Machado, Travis Snyder, then Adam Jones. The center fielder is the DH for 2 consecutive games here. He's dealing with a shoulder problem. He's played 65 games at Rogers Center. He has 13 home runs and driven in 29 runs, and right behind him, Delman Young in the lineup. He appeared as a pinch hitter last night. He's got great numbers against the Blue Jays starter Mark Buehrle. He has a ton of at-bats and has had a lot of success against Mark Buehrle.
He certainly has, and this is a milestone afternoon for Mark Buehrle. This is his 500th career appearance and 475th start in the Major League. That breaks a tie with Livan Hernandez and Kenny Rogers. Now 61st all-time in game starts in Major League history for Mark Buehrle. His 4th start of the season against the Baltimore Orioles. He's won all 3 previous starts against the Orioles this year.
What a great milestone. Game number 500 for Mark Buehrle. He has had a terrific career, and it continues with a 7-4 record here this afternoon. Buehrle is all set. Manny Machado will step in as the leadoff hitter, and Buehrle works quickly. Here's the first pitch of the game. It's in there for a strike, and we are underway. Manny Machado had a 2-hit night last night. He had 5 plate appearances. He singled in the 8th and the 9th and scored 2 runs.
Had a stolen base in last night's ball game.
There's a high fly ball to left. Chris Colabello drifts onto the warning track. That ball carries, and Colabello missed it. Machado should have been at third base. He assumed it was going to be an out, as we all did. Colabello got caught drifting on the ball, never got back to the wall, and the ball carried right to the top of the wall in left.
He's out here the last couple of days working on fly balls, and you're right. Watch him just drift and drift. You got to get back to the wall, and he missed it. He's tall enough to be able to catch that ball, but the ball's carry this afternoon right off the top of the wall for extra bases.
Manny Machado ends up at second, but he very well could have been at third base. He assumed it was going to be a routine out. Travis Snyder singles to right field. Bautista will come up throwing, gets it back in quickly. And early trouble. If Machado was running on his double off the wall, that's an RBI for Travis Snyder.
And he's sitting down on the bench right now. You can see it looks like a fly ball. Everybody assumed that it was going to be a fly ball, so he's starting to break it down just a little bit and then realizes that the ball is off the wall, so he shifts gears, but he can only make it into second base.
Yeah, that's really not the way you want to approach it, assuming it was a routine out. It'll bite you every time. So Buehrle's in a jam early. Now he's got to deal with Adam Jones. We mentioned Jones' great numbers here at Rogers Center. 13 homers and 39 RBIs. Jones had a 2-run single in the 9th and made it a 5-4 game. He is late on that first pitch.
That's the type of at-bat he had in that 9th inning that you were just talking about. If you remember, he broke his bat 3 times. 2 on foul balls where he had to get another baseball bat, and then the last one shattered his bat, but was able to get it into right field. It was almost like he was looking for something off speed from Brett Cecil. That first swing right there off of Mark Buehrle looked like he might have been anticipating an off-speed pitch.
Coming inside again. Missed with that cutter. Jones is a .410 hitter against Mark Buehrle. 16 for 39 with a pair of long balls. Ground ball. Donaldson cuts in front of Reyes. Flip to Goins, and Jones will reach. The run comes across as Jones picks up an RBI on the fielder's choice.
Number 36 on the season for Jones, and another broken bat. That cutter has been really good for Mark Buehrle lately. That's how he had only given up 3 earned runs over his last 30 innings pitched. Cutter in on the right-hander right there, and he gets the out, but a run scores.
So Machado scores from third on the fielder's choice. Now Delman Young with 1 out. Another broken bat. Goins will come and swipe at Jones. Goes to first. Double play. Another terrific play by Ryan Goins. It was a broken bat dribbler towards second. He came into the base path. He tagged Jones and threw to first to complete the double play. Terrific defensive play in support of Mark Buehrle. Air ball game here this afternoon. Jose Reyes right at the top of the order. He's done a good job against the Orioles this season. 9 for 28, scored 5 runs. And then down in the 5th spot, Chris Colabello. He's got another 8-game hit streak. He had an 18-gamer earlier in the season. He's strung together another 8-game streak. Now he's 12 for 31. Then an OPS over 9. Colabello has been a very pleasant surprise as he has joined the Jays in May.
And they will get a look this afternoon at Kevin Gausman. Gausman hasn't made a big league appearance since he went on the disabled list in early May. That was with shoulder tendonitis. Prior to that, he was pitching out of the bullpen for the Baltimore Orioles. He's made a couple of starts versus the Blue Jays in his career this season. He's made a couple of relief appearances against Toronto. He's a former first-round draft pick. He made 3 rehab starts and was 0-1.
Here is Jose Reyes. We mentioned his good numbers against the Orioles this season. In last night's game, he was 1 for 4 with the runs scored. Batting .284, he is truly the table setter in this lineup. Get him on base, get him across home plate. Blue Jays have a tendency to win.
Yeah, he's such a key, I think, for this offense when you get him on base. The threat of a stolen base really disrupts that pitcher.
Gausman went on the DL May 8th with shoulder tendonitis. This is his first start of the season. It's his 26th career start.
And he is here, Buck, because Wei Chen, they are skipping him. They're giving him a little bit of a, quote, breather in the middle of the season so they don't wear down in the month of September. So Chen is down in the minor leagues. Gausman is coming off the rehab to get this start.
There's a strike. It's now 2-1. The Orioles did that last year with Miguel Gonzalez, Wei Chen. And now Buck Showalter just wants to make sure that they don't wear down their starters here in the middle of the season. There's a base hit down the right field line. It could be extra bases. Reyes is around first. He's headed for second. Jose Reyes setting the table early. Blue Jays are down by a run. Defensively, the Orioles are a terrific defensive ball club. They made 2 errors last night. It's Snyder, Reimold, and Young in the outfield. Machado and Hardy, a couple of Gold Glovers on the left side of the infield. Flaherty and Davis on the right side. And Caleb Joseph starts for the 49th time behind the plate.
And it's a good throwing outfield. They're second in major leagues. Delman Young is in outfield assists with 8. He got one last night. The O's ranked first in the major leagues with 22 outfield assists.
Josh Donaldson takes a fastball strike. Donaldson was 0 for last night. And he's 0 for 3 with a walk. Boy, the Orioles have the book on Donaldson. They have worked him upstairs and quite effectively.
He's going to have to be a little bit more disciplined and lay off of that high fastball. Came up empty in last night's game with a strikeout on a high fastball. It's been sliders away, fastballs up against Josh Donaldson lately.
Got a pretty good pitch to hit there, but you can still see how they're working the upper half of the strike zone. The Blue Jays at home have really put it on other teams. They are 23-12 at home, and they have outscored their opponents here at Rogers Center by 75 runs. So most in baseball. The Dodgers are second in runs. The run differential at home, they have outscored their opponents by 49.
They just jump on you early. And if you don't have your stuff early in the game, first inning, you're liable to put some runs on the board in that first.
1-2 to Donaldson. Gosman didn't get the call. Pretty good pitch inside.
He's got a good arm. Mentioned that he was a former first-round draft pick for Orioles just a couple of seasons ago. That fastball right now is touching 97, 98 here in the first inning.
The draft was the 2012 draft. That off-speed pitch was in the dirt. He throws that hard, but it's a combination of a splitter and changeup, but he throws it with an unusual grip.
Yeah, it's the Vulcan grip type of changeup, and it's nasty. You got to recognize it out of his hand and lay off of it.
Full count, nobody out. Inside, Donaldson works Gosman for the walk.
Take a little closer look at Kevin Gosman and what he will feature when he is out on that mound. Again, that fastball, it's one of the best, I think, in the American League. It's averaging a 95 miles an hour. We've already seen him touch 98 this game. He's throwing 71% of the time. The splitter and the slider are some go-to pitches that he can pick up strikeouts with. His strikeouts have gone up this year. Using the fastball just about the same as he did last year.
Jose Bautista fouls off the first pitch. Bautista, batting in last night's game in the first inning, got hit by a pitch by the starter Mike Wright, and that led to the warnings issued. It ultimately led to the ejection of John Gibbons and set the tone for this entire three-game series. Bautista is 0 for 5 in limited at-bats against Kevin Gosman. Gibbons was tossed from the ballgame by C.B. Buckner, who is at third base this afternoon. Bautista check swing tapper to Davis at first, and Bautista is going to reach safely. Donaldson once again, the Blue Jays breaking up the potential double play. Bautista safe at first. Reyes goes to third. Donaldson with a good hard slide at second.
That could have worked out nicely for the Blue Jays. And excuse me, swing by Bautista as he checks his swing and the ball gets to the right side where they were playing him to pull on the left side. Davis covers it up. You're right, a good slide by Donaldson to take the legs out of J.J. Hardy and keep the inning going.
And when Encarnacion drove in the first run of the ball game last night with an RBI double in the first. Ball in the dirt, blocked by Caleb Joseph. Joseph making his 49th start. He's done an admirable job filling in for Matt Wieters going back to last season when Wieters was knocked out with the elbow problem and Tommy John surgery. Fouled straight back. Another one right into the Orioles broadcast booth.
That's 3 in the last 3 games here at Rogers Center. Now, where we sit, we're way up here. Very rarely you get balls all the way up here at the Rogers Center. That's 3 in 3 games now.
And you can see the height of that broadcast booth next door to our Sportsnet booth. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick are the broadcasters for the Orioles. There's a fly ball to shallow left. Snyder broke back. Reyes will tag at third. Here's the throw to the plate. It's cut off, and the Blue Jays have tied it up. Edwin Encarnacion with his 41st RBI. Another sacrifice fly for the Blue Jays.
Good piece of hitting right there. You can get geared for that fastball, I think, with Kevin Gausman on the mound. Edwin does, but it beats him just a little bit. He got the great speed, though, of Reyes at third base, and he can score on a short sacrifice fly. Edwin picks up the RBI. Reyes gets the run scored, and the Blue Jays have tied it here in the first.
Blue Jays have done a terrific job. They lead the American League with 28 sacrifice flies, one more than the Cleveland Indians. Chris Colabello batting .350. 2 hits in last night's game. Encarnacion cashes in Reyes from third.
That's the effect of Jose Reyes right there. We were talking about when he was at bat. With his speed, he can score on a short fly ball like that. And Edwin appreciated it, too. That's why he went over and gave him a hug, huh?
You know what? The Blue Jays have really bought into the team approach at the plate. Move the runner along, advance the runner, get the extra base, put yourself in position to score. Everybody is contributing. It's a high fly ball to right. Elman Young will watch it sail into the seats. Colabello has good power the opposite way. In a home run here on Thursday night to right field.
On a breaking ball. That's hard to do. To take a breaking ball down and away from you and to hit it out of the ballpark the opposite field. Usually you see those breaking balls, they're hung and they're spinning over the middle of the plate, and it speeds the bat up and they pull the ball. Colabello got a home run to right field off of Bartolo Colon breaking ball.
The Orioles outfield is shading Colabello to the opposite field. Travis Snyder, the left fielder, is way over in the alley in left center. It's a combination of factors involved in that setup. The fact that Gausman throws hard. They don't anticipate Colabello pulling anything down the left field line.
Not unless it's a hanging breaking ball. And he hasn't hung one yet. That breaking ball has been down. You can see on pitch tracker, those are all breaking balls that are out of the strike zone.
Good cut by Colabello. It's now a full count. 2 outs. Bautista at first will break on the pitch. There goes Bautista. Colabello hits it to third. Machado has it. Across the diamond, the Blue Jays have tied it up. The teams have traded runs in the first. Jose Reyes, since coming off the disabled list, has hit .304. He's now hit in 21 of his 24 games this season. He scores a run to tie it up.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful afternoon here in Rogers Center. Blue Jays and the Orioles tied at 1. Blue Jays won last night 5-4 to improve to 7-3 this season against Baltimore. Chris Davis struck out to end the game last night.
Some anxious moments in last night's ball game with the guys that were coming up for the Baltimore Orioles.
Adam Jones had a 2-run single in the ninth to make it a 5-4 game. And then you got Chris Davis facing Brett Cecil, but Cecil was able to strike him out to end the game.
I thought those were two of the biggest at-bats in last night's game, the one that Chris Davis had. Steve Delabar came in to snuff out a rally in the 8th inning against Chris Davis.
Ryan Goins is in shallow right field. He throws out Chris Davis. Well, the Blue Jays defense has been exceptional. Ryan Goins at second has had a great run to start the season. Chris Colabello, Kevin Pillar, and Jose Bautista are in the outfield this afternoon. Josh Donaldson, Jose Reyes on the left side of the infield, and that's important. It's Goins and Encarnacion, and then Martin behind the plate.
It's very important on the left side to have a good defense, and you talk about exceptional defense. This guy right here has had some exceptional defense lately. Making plays over there at third base. He ended the game the other day on an outstanding play. Barehanded throw over to first base to beat the Mets.
Ball hit the bag. Ruben Tejada hit a grounder to third. It bounced straight up in the air after hitting third base, and he barehanded it. Threw him out to end the game. Nolan Reimold fouls it off. It's now 2-2. Reimold is now 31 years old. Originally drafted in the second round by the Orioles out of Bowling Green University. Burley strikes him out. 2 quick outs here in the second.
You know, this is a chance right here to show you how they are going to go inside, but he misses his spot. But the fastball surprises Reimold. Look at him. He's anticipating that ball in. He's trying to back away from it, and it's right down the middle.
Sometimes a scouting report will give you too much information.
You got to hit what you see, right? Not what you think was going to come.
Boy, Burley has been locked in, hasn't he? He is rocketing, firing lately, boy. Ground ball, Reyes. It's short. Throws out his counterpart, J.J. Hardy. The Orioles go down quickly in the second. It's a 1-1 game. Martin, Navarro, and Pillar when we come back. draftee of that draft to make it to the major leagues. And boy, it was a pitching-rich draft.
College pitchers, they come quick. Kevin Gausman was 4th overall. He got quickly to the big leagues with the Orioles. Remember Michael Wacha and his effect for the Cardinals that year, 19th overall. And how about Marcus Stroman, pitcher out of Duke, 22nd overall, and the effect that he has had. You get those college pitchers, you draft them, if they're polished like those 3 that we saw, they're going to get to the big leagues quickly.
Yeah, and that's probably the safest bet when you're picking in the draft. Take a college pitcher. You know what he's done against good competition, especially like the case of Gausman, who pitched at LSU, a very competitive baseball program.
The Blue Jays' last 2 drafts, their #1 picks have been college pitchers.
Jeff Hoffman out of East Carolina University in 14, and this year John Harris out of Southwest Missouri State, which is now Missouri State University. Russell Martin gets hit by a pitch, and everybody is reacting to it. Martin, he goes to first base, and now they're appealing whether or not it was a foul ball. Martin shows the red mark on his elbow.
Yeah, that's all he has to do is show him the bruise after getting hit by that inside fastball. One more time. Fastball in. He starts his swing and then can't hold up. That hits him right on the elbow.
Home plate umpire Gabe Morales was asked by Caleb Joseph to check, and Martin said, yeah, here it is, right on my elbow. And then he looked back at Joseph. Tension is high here with these 2 ball clubs. Pat, you know, when you're on the field, basically you can tell when things are intentional. And I think last night with Bautista, of course, he's been hit so many times, it didn't make any difference if there was intent or not.
I did not feel like both batters that were hit last night that caused all the controversy, I did not feel like those were intentional. They happened, but I don't think the Orioles were trying to hit Bautista. It just turned out that way, and it didn't look very good. And I know Osuna wasn't trying to hit Adam Jones in that situation to load the bases and bring up the tying run. It just happened that way. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, they lost both their manager and the bench coach.
And Osuna. This is Diana Navarro, who is the DH this afternoon. He was the catcher last night. Navarro missed about a month with a hamstring problem, so his at-bats are not where you would expect. 1-2.
And the idea over the last couple of days with Deonner is to get him in the lineup and trying to get him going. It's been tough for him. He was an everyday player for the Blue Jays last year, and he came up with a lot of big base hits for them, drove in some big runs, but now as a part-time player, it's been tough on him. So John Gibbons got him to start behind the plate last night, and this afternoon he gets the DH, try to get him going.
That's driven down the right side. It's hooking, and it'll go into the seats. This is the 53rd at bat for Navarro. So his numbers are off. He had a great year last year. His career best offensively. When you look at the regulars in the Blue Jays lineup, Josh Donaldson has 273 at bats coming into this game.
And just before he went on the disabled list, it seemed like he was rounding into form. The bats started coming around. I think he had 3 hits that day. He got hurt.
Base hit, right field. Martin is taking the turn around second. He'll go to third. Delvin Young's got a strong arm, but the throw is late. Gianna Navarro with a base hit in his first at bat.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Blue Jays knocking on the door once again. Navarro had an RBI last night. He's had a base hit already. Russell Martin hit by a pitch, goes first to third, setting the table for Kevin Pillar. Pillar had a 2-hit game last night. He had a double and a bunt single. Ball gets away from Joseph. Goes into the dugout. Russell Martin will score. Navarro will go to second. The Blue Jays have the lead.
You know, so much has been made over the last week or so about the Blue Jays base running, that they made some mistakes, yes. But I think overall this season the base running has been outstanding. Russell Martin goes first to third on that base hit to right field and now can score on this wild pitch right here. That doesn't happen if he doesn't make it from first base all the way to third base on a single to right field. And remember, Delman Young's got 8 outfield assists. Good base running there gets the Blue Jays a run.
Well, you're right, and so much was made about the base running mistakes in New York against the Mets, but it's an isolated situation. Yeah, they ran poorly. Kevin Pillar, he admitted it. But overall, they've been very aggressive and very successful.
And you can't take that aggressiveness away from them. If you start playing scared on the bases, like you don't want to make a mistake, Russell Martin's not going to be at third base on that base hit. He's at first base, and it's a ground single. It's not hit that hard, but he's thinking third base all the way. You see Luis Rivera send him, and Delman Young with the strong throw, but because he was aggressive and he was thinking 2 bases on a base hit, you're going to make them stop you. And that was a nice play to get to third base.
1-2 to Pillar. Inside. What Martin did when he broke off the bag at first, he looked right at Delman Young and saw how far Young had to run to get to the baseball. Then he made a quick assessment and he could go first to third. Most good base runners don't rely on their coaches very often.
The only time you really need them is you're going to third base from first and the ball's behind you. You know, the ball down the right field line where you can't see the fielder, or you have no idea where the ball is. It's the only time really you need a third base coach.
Full count now, nobody out. Blue Jays have a run in. Yonder Navarro at second at a base hit. He advanced on the wild pitch. '97 upstairs, and Pillar gets a piece of it. Gosman's got legit stuff.
Yeah, free and easy motion, nice loose arm, and he throws hard.
Broken bat dribbler. Machado from third throws to first, not in time. Kevin Pillar gets an infield hit. He does his job. He puts the ball in play to move Navarro from second to third. And they might be going to look at this one. It was bang bang at first.
It certainly was. The turf ate that ball up and slowed it down. Machado comes up firing. But from that first shot, it looked like Pillar beat it with that last stretch. Don't jump. Don't jump up in the air. Just run right through the bag, hit the front part of that bag. And it looks like Pillar beat it out. They are not going to take a look at this one. And the Blue Jays are cooking.
2 hits in the inning. Still nobody out. Ryan Goins, the number 9 hitter. Popped it up. Manny Machado, the third baseman, makes the catch. Goins retired on 1 pitch. For the Blue Jays, they can strike anywhere in their batting order. In last night's game, they scored 2 in the first, 2 in the second, a single run in the third. And it was all over the map where they got the production from, 1 through 9. Reyes doubled off Gosman in the first. He pops it up. Joseph out behind the plate makes the catch. 2 pitches and 2 outs.
Little anxious that time. It looked like an off-speed pitch from Kevin Gausman. And Reyes, he hammers the fastball. And a little anxious that time with the runner at third base, less than 2 outs. Swings at that first pitch and pops it up. Now it's going to take a 2-out hit from Donaldson.
Donaldson walked his first time up. Donaldson has hit .284 against right-handed pitching. Very respectable. Overall, he's batting .304. Be interesting to watch this pattern as they have worked him upstairs exclusively.
And you know, Josh Donaldson has taken note of that. Gausman might want to, he might try and power a fastball by him.
Like that changeup missed downstairs. What do you do if you're Donaldson? Do you try to hit that high pitch or do you lay off of it?
I think we've seen him. Remember David Robertson? Those were high fastballs that he took out of the ballpark. He can hit that pitch. I never want to take the bat away from him or take that aggressiveness away from Josh Donaldson. Let it go.
Might have been off the plate. It's called a strike. Pretty good pitch to hit. Fouled it straight back. Well, with Donaldson, the wheels are always spinning. He takes the information from one pitch and puts it to use for the next.
Walked first time up. They tried to pound it in with fastballs. And they took them. You can see where the cluster of pitches are in this at bat.
Pilar was caught stealing in last night's game for just the second time. He has 10 stolen bases in 12 attempts. Another pop-up on the infield. Flaherty shading his eyes from the bright sun. Kevin Gausman minimizes the damage here in the second. But Blue Jays score a run on 2 hits and take a 2-1 lead.
Marks the 20th annual Home Run Challenge for Prostate Cancer Foundation, and I am joined by Mike Milken, who happens to be the founder and chairman of the Prostate Cancer Foundation. Mike, 20 years is just a phenomenal run you guys have had. For people at home watching, maybe you can explain exactly what the Home Run Challenge is and how they can get involved.
Well, you can go to PCF, prostatecancerfoundation.org, but the idea was come out to the ball game, Come outside, remind your dad to get checked for prostate cancer. Keep dad in the game. That was the theory 20 years ago. And today, 20 years later, I'm happy to be here. I was diagnosed 22 and a half years ago, given 12 to 18 months to live, so I'm first, the happiest guy to be in the ballpark. Second, I'm really happy to be in Toronto, one of the world's leaders in cancer research and prostate cancer research at the University of Toronto. And the best news over the 20 years is the death rate has fallen by 50% from projected levels.
With that said, though, Mike, you've mentioned it is still one of those things that is very common, and it's very important for men my age, younger and older, to get checked as well.
I think starting at 40, you need to get that simple blood test. It's an early warning system. We all wish that life-threatening diseases had an early warning system. And so the most exciting play, that home run in baseball, we raise money for every home runs hit. We think we'll get about 200 home runs this year. And so for Canadian citizens, you get a tax deduction as a contribution. And if you pledge money, $1, that would be $200, $10, $2,000. And all of it goes to prostate cancer research right here in Canada.
Well, Mike, before we let you go, throw out that website one more time for people watching.
PCF.org, and you can learn all about nutrition, immunology. We've invested about $5 million here, and we'd love to have a contribution because we double everyone.
Well, that's great to hear, Buck. Tabby, what a fantastic cause it is. We got the armbands, we got the wristbands here, giving our support to prostate cancer.
And Father's Day tomorrow. Keep dad in the game.
There you go, Buck.
Thank you, Barry. Great opportunity to bring awareness to the fight against prostate cancer, and that'll all take place on Father's Day tomorrow. Ryan Flaherty had a bunt base hit. Mark Burley slipped getting off the mound. He had a shot at making a play on Flaherty. And Flaherty moved to second on the pass ball. Caleb Joseph grounds out to third. Now back to the top of the order. Manny Machado doubled and scored the Orioles run in the first. Burley finds that inside corner.
Boy, he does that better than anybody, doesn't he? A left-handed pitcher whose fastball tops at 84 miles an hour can get in on those right-handers. You say, well, how can that be? Well, his cutter is so effective. And he gets those batters. He's got a sixth sense when they're leaning out over the plate that he can bust them inside like that.
Right there. It looks so inviting to hitters. See, 82 miles an hour. So, man, I can wear that out. But then he has just enough movement and great location on the pitch. You rarely square it up.
You know what it makes those right-handed batters do? It makes them go around the baseball. And by that I mean the bat, instead of going through it, they can't pull their hands and they go around the ball and they foul it. How many times have we seen foul balls down the left field line from those right-handed batters?
Even when they hit it hard when it's inside, they can't keep it fingered. But Burley relies a lot on his defense. He knows he's going to give up a lot of hard hit balls. That's why the left side of the infield is so important. Took a shot at the outside corner just to mix it up. So now he's got both sides he can work with on this next pitch.
That's what I mean right there about having a sixth sense, and they work really well with the catchers of when a guy's looking for a ball in and out. There's another one. Just 85 miles an hour, but it freezes Manny Machado, a very hot hitter for the Orioles. Cutter, he just can't pull that trigger. It's right there for a strike.
There are three elements to pitching: location, velocity, and movement. And the least important is the velocity. You locate with a little movement, you can have a lot of success.
You know, I'll throw another one in there: deception. Those pitchers who hide the ball for some reason, or they throw that invisible ball where you just can't pick it up. Deception, I think, is a good attribute for a pitcher.
Travis Snyder, the former Blue Jay, had a single to right in the first.
I think Mark Burley's got a little deception in his windup. There's something that he does that the batters just can't pick the ball up.
Well, you see, he turns his right shoulder and closes it up as he begins his delivery. And then he pulls the ball behind him, and it's difficult to pick up the release point. There's a good perspective of it right there. Watch that front shoulder. This is popped up. Donaldson battling the sun into foul territory. Stays with it and makes the play. The Orioles get a leadoff single. Can't do anything with it. Mark Burley has a 2-1 lead. Inning, the fireworks started early as Bautista is hit by a pitch with 2 outs.
And that looked funny, and then John Gibbons comes out, and C.B. Buckner tells him, hey, you can't come out here and argue about a warning, so he gets tossed. You can see that Bautista had something to say to the bench, and then when Adam Jones gets hit later in the game, C.B. Buckner throws him out. Also, you can see Navarro pleading with the umpire saying that was ball 4 that loaded the bases. DeMarlo Hale got pitched. And when all's said and done, Tim Leeper ended up managing the team. I asked him today, I said, Leaps, did you get a win? Did you get credit for a win last night or a save?
Everybody was involved. Tim Leeper was the manager when the game ended. DeMarlo Hale, the bench coach and acting manager, was ejected when Jones was hit, along with Roberto Osuna. Jose Bautista reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. He has now reached base in 28 of his last 29 games. Manny Machado with a nice play on the hot shot. Bautista is retired.
Now batting number 10, Edwin Encarnacion.
It is Junior J's Saturday, and it's all presented by Boston Pizza. Each Saturday, a Junior J gets to introduce the players. Just one of the many activities taking place here on Junior J's Saturday, all presented by Boston Pizza. Great day for the kids out at the ballpark. Beautiful day. Nice crowd on hand. Looks like it's going to be close to 40,000. Last night, 32,322. Sat and watched the Orioles come back in the 9th inning and score 2 runs to make it a 5-4 game.
Got their money's worth yesterday, didn't they? A little bit of everything, and it was a great game too. A great game between 2 heavyweights in my mind.
And what gets overlooked in all of the activities on the field, the fact that Marco Estrada had a no-hitter in the 8th.
That took a back seat, didn't it? At the end of that ball game last night, with all the fireworks between the 2 teams, and then the comeback by the Orioles and the Blue Jays hanging on. Marco was outstanding.
He allowed just 1 hit. Jimmy Paredes, a pinch hit, base hit to start the 8th. Chris Davis goes into foul territory. He's got plenty of room, and Encarnacion's retired.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Many ways to get to Rogers Center. You can jump on the train and come right down to Union Station, walk a couple blocks over. And why not? It's a gorgeous afternoon to do that. Chris Colabello grounded out to third, his first time up. Colabello has 160 at-bats since coming up from the minor leagues. He's 0 for 1 this afternoon. That gives him 161. He's still shy of qualifying for the leaderboard. He would be right up there. Miguel Cabrera, 345. Then Prince Fielder, 344. Jason Kipnis, 341. He tried to check his swing. He goes around, and Colabello strikes out. Quick inning for Kevin Gausman. Will move to the fourth. Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead.
Now it's your turn to help make him a starter for the American League at the All-Star Game July 14th. There's only a couple of weeks to go, so get online. You can vote a maximum of 35 times per email address. Vote early, vote often. Vote at BlueJays.com. And fans, this is a great opportunity to see a very well-deserved Blue Jay get the start in the All-Star Game in Cincinnati, but he definitely needs your help. Buck?
He sure does, as Mike Moustakas has a big lead on Josh Donaldson. So make sure you log online and vote for Josh Donaldson and other Blue Jays. Send them to the All-Star Game. Adam Jones shows bunt and had a little smile down to Josh Donaldson, said, I'm not really going to bunt. You know that.
He's not going to fall for that one from Adam Jones. He's going to swing away.
And now he's behind 0-2. There's another one of those loud strikes that Burley will give up to Dolphin.
And he goes around it and hooks it foul. He's one of the better off-speed hitters in baseball. Adam Jones hitting over 300 against the breaking ball. So you got to stay inside right there.
All three strikeouts Burley has picked up are called strike threes. As the Orioles are off stride with Burley, they're looking for the other pitch.
And they get that cutter right there. He's worked with different grips with that cutter over the years. He was telling me that he tried to learn a different type of cutter from Bartolo Colon when Colon was a member of the Chicago White Sox. He wasn't real happy with that. He wasn't getting the depth that he needed. So he just shifts a little bit on that seam. It's almost like a two-seamer.
Off the end of the bat. Bouncing ball to third. Donaldson throws out Delman Young. Mark Burley has settled in nicely. Boy, he's really thrown the ball well lately, basically the last 2 months. Once he got out of April, seems like things started to turn around for him. He was winning games early, but the Blue Jays were scoring him a ton of runs.
I think his cutter's been a little bit better. Every pitch seems to be a little bit more crisp. And he's kept the ball down. Early in April, it looked like everything was up, like he couldn't finish pitches. Couldn't get out there and finish it off.
This is popped up into shallow right. Goins gets turned around. Bautista has to run a long way to make the catch. Ryan Goins never really got turned around to run full speed out to right. So Bautista has to bail him out. Goins gets turned around. Bautista has to come a long way to make the sliding catch. 8 pitches for Burley in the 4th.
Father's Day weekend, we say congratulations to Ben Foreman. You've just won an autographed Blue Jays jersey. There he is, having breakfast with Dad. There are more prizes all weekend long. Just tweet a selfie with Dad using the hashtag #CelebrateDad for a chance to win. Buck?
It's a great picture. Father enjoying company of his child and headed out to the ball game. A lot of dads here with their kids. It's Junior Jay's Saturday. It's always a special afternoon atmosphere. A lot of kids with their dads, and tomorrow, Father's Day, I'm sure we'll have a similar crowd on hand. Russell Martin got hit by a pitch and scored the second Blue Jay run. Remember how often the lineup was in flux early in the season? Donaldson was in the second spot. Then they moved Russell Martin in there, and there was a lot of jockeying, and John Gibbons has now settled on a pretty consistent lineup overall when you have Martin down in the 6th spot. Colabello's hit 5th a lot lately.
You know what a lot of that was attributed to? Jose Reyes being hurt. There was nobody to say, okay, this is our leadoff guy. And then everybody else flows behind Reyes. When he got hurt and was out of the lineup, you know, Donaldson led off for a little bit. We saw Devin Travis lead off for a little bit. Russell Martin was moved up and down and up and down. But you're right, he has settled in, and I think it's because Reyes has been healthy.
A strike right at the knees. Martin didn't think so. Having a conversation with Gabe Morales, the home plate umpire. That's how you get things done. Catcher working with the umpire. Boy, I thought that was a little bit low, Gabe. No, it's just right there at the bottom. Okay. Have a good look at it when I'm catching. J.J. Hardy backhands and throws across the diamond in time. 1 down.
Well, there's nothing flashy about J.J. Hardy. He just makes the plays. Day in and day out. Buck Showalter was talking about him yesterday. I asked him, what's the improvement of your club? He says, we're starting to catch the ball. That's what we're known for, and the big guy, having Wieters back in there and J.J. Hardy, have meant a lot to this team. That play right there was a difficult play that he made look very easy. And he's like Cal Ripken when you watch him. Remember when Ripken was playing shortstop for the Baltimore Orioles? The throw always seemed to be just ahead of the runner, no matter the degree of difficulty or where he catches the ball.
That's a great analogy, Cal Ripken, and that really started with Brooks Robinson, the third baseman, the great Gold Glove Hall of Fame third baseman, and he would throw across the diamond, and it would be by half a step. No matter if it was Bo Jackson running or me, everything was a half a step.
Yeah, or if it was a hard hit ball, if it was to his front side or his backhand or wherever. Ripken was the same way. J.J. Hardy, you watch him play this game of baseball. He knows the runners, he knows the situation, he knows how many outs there are, he knows when to put a little something more on it. It's great to watch.
Buck Showalter has really learned to admire the way Hardy plays shortstop, and he has some unique ideas regarding the tag play. Hardy says you don't use the U tag, you use the V tag. Down and up very quickly to give the umpire a very definitive shot. 3-2 to Navarro. High pop up into right. Ryan Flaherty was deep in the shift. He makes the catch in fair territory. Blue Jays have a 9-game home winning streak, and they have done a little bit of everything to contribute to that historic streak.
Well, they're pitching, first of all. You can see the earned run average at 222, and the opponent's batting average just over 200. But they're scoring a ton of runs. As a team, they're hitting over 300. A run differential of plus 39 in 9 games. That's pretty good right there. And they've hit 14 home runs. So they're doing a little bit of everything. You know what else they're doing that we can't really throw a stat up there? They're playing good defense, good team defense. Making all the right throws from the outfield, and the infield's catching the ball, making the routine play.
Running the bases very well. Kevin Pillar had an infield single his first time up. The 9-game winning streak here at home is the second longest home winning streak in franchise history. The 1985 club won 10 straight from July 21st to August 3rd. With a win here today, of course, Blue Jays will tie that as the longest home winning streak in franchise history.
That team still has the record for most wins in a season for the Blue Jays.
Another foul ball just above the broadcast booth next door. Yeah, the 85 team, of course, the first franchise title for the Blue Jays came in 1985.
99 wins?
99 wins. Yep.
Yikes.
A lot of wins. Another pop-up over the Orioles dugout and out of play.
A lot of pop-ups by the Blue Jays over the last couple of innings, and I think that's a reflection of Kevin Gausman's fastball. He's got some hop to it, and he's throwing it at the top of the strike zone.
5 pop-outs today. You get that hop and that fastball upstairs, and Gausman got 3 pop-ups in the second to minimize the damage. He gave just 1 run on 2 hits and a hit batter.
There's no question he's got a good arm. Good fastball.
Shaded up the middle. Pillar hits it hard. It does even out. He had a broken bat single in the first. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker.
credit when you add internet to select Rogers Ignite bundles. Find out how. Call 1-888-ROGERS-1 now. Hurry, offer ends soon. What?
Thank you very much, Barry. It is a beautiful day here at Rogers Center. Lots of fans on hand. It's like a packed house. And why not come out and enjoy an afternoon game? We got another one tomorrow. Father's Day. Nolan Rymel hits a 2-hopper to the shortstop. Mark Burley retired 7 straight.
This is the second time through the lineup right now for the Baltimore Orioles. And if you look at the stats, Burley's batting average again, second time through, goes way down. Almost 140 points from the first time through the lineup to the second time through the lineup. That's just making adjustments.
Well, he has enough weapons to give the hitters a different look each time he faces them. He can cut it, he can sink it, he changes speed. You just don't see many balls squared up when he's got everything working.
He might be pitching you one way the first time through and then change up. The second time through the lineup, batters are hitting 147. Now, to give you some kind of gauge on what that is, the major league average, second time through is 263. And he's at 147. So he knows how to pitch.
Well, the interesting thing about Burley, he doesn't go over hitters in the pregame meeting. He doesn't look at video. He doesn't throw in between starts. And he doesn't shake off the catcher. So the catcher calls the game. Another broken bat. Donaldson will pull out of the way. Nice communication there. The third baseman went over in front of Reyes, thought he had time to cut it off, but once he recognized he didn't, he just pulled out of the way.
And I think that's the right play by the Blue Jays right there. Donaldson was going straight across to get that ground ball. Reyes was circling around the ball, so now his momentum is heading over towards first base, and with a strong arm, he makes the play to get Hardy over at first base. Donaldson realizes this, and he hits the deck. Get down. And Reyes throws right over the top of him.
Blue Jays are really working as a team. You know, it took them about 45, 50 games with the newcomers, Donaldson and Martin, to get really entrenched in the chemistry of this team. And that's pretty much the barometer that the old-time GMs used to talk about. Give me 60 games and I'll give you an idea what our team's all about.
A true idea of what you have. Early on, I thought the defense was not very good. There were too many mistakes, especially in the outfield. Balls falling in and the communication problems that they had. Right now, they're playing pretty good defense.
That's an interesting sign. Donaldson duck.
He just did that. He just did the Donaldson duck right there on that throw from Reyes.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Flaherty. Flaherty had a bunt single back in the third. Who did you face in your career that was like Mark Burley?
Charlie Lee Brandt was very similar to what Mark Burley features. He was deceptive. He'd throw that cutter in on you as a right-hander and then fade that changeup down and away. He'd go backwards and forwards and up and down. And it was a frustrating at-bat.
Mark Burley with another strikeout. 3 up, 3 down. 4 strikeouts on the afternoon.
Rockies here at Rogers Center, the stars of the new Minions movie. They're getting the crowd pumped up. Minions, by the way, out in theaters on July 10th. And Buck, I guess the sad thing about my son being all grown up now is I don't get to go to these great kids movies like I used to.
Oh, you can tell us, Barry. I'm sure you're going to check out the Minions.
Yeah, okay. Maybe on the road I might sneak in and sit in the back row by myself and watch it. Yeah, you caught me.
It's a great atmosphere for this Junior Jays Saturday. The Minions are here. The Blue Jays were asked for the Jumbotron what they would have their minions do, and most of them wanted them to clean the house. Ryan Goins, he'll lead things off. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Blue Jays in the fifth. Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead over the Orioles and Kevin Gausman. Last night, the ball game was a one-run affair, but it started out pretty rocky. There were 9 walks in the ball game in the first 3 innings. Both Mike Wright and Marco Estrada were having trouble controlling the ball early in the game. Wright would last just an inning in the third. He walked 4. Estrada walked 4 early, but then settled down nicely and went into the 8th inning.
Felt like a couple of boxers who took the first couple of rounds, 2 or 3 rounds, to kind of feel out their opposition, what they could do, what they couldn't do. Mike Wright was gone quickly. Estrada pitched deep into the ball game, and Marcos said he could have gone deeper if he kept that no-no going. He said, I would have thrown 200 pitches if it meant throwing a no-no.
He was terrific. The Orioles got a nice effort from their relief pitcher, Tyler Wilson, and for his reward, he was demoted back to the minor leagues. He went 5 2/3 to help out that bullpen. 3-2 now to Goins leading off the 5th. Another pop-up. Machado goes out into the outfield to make the catch.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
The roof is pushed back here at Rogers Center. Back to the top of the order for the Blue Jays. Jose Reyes has gone 1 for 2. Burley has retired at 9 straight. Gausman has retired 10 straight. Both pitchers have settled in the middle innings. Made him reach for that pitch outside. It's 0-2. The Blue Jays 37-32 at the start of play this afternoon. 2 games back in 3rd place. Tampa Bay leads the East. They have 39 wins, 30 losses. They have 2 more wins than the Yankees.
Blue Jays keep winning, but they can't gain any ground on Tampa Bay because the Rays keep winning.
The Rays have won 3 straight. Same for the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Blue Jays will go down to St. Petersburg and play the Rays in a 3-game series starting Monday night.
Early on in the season, everybody was saying, oh, the weak AL East, and nobody wants to win it. You think it's starting to come together for the American League East?
Yeah, I do. It's sorting itself out for sure. And we have seen the National League teams. We saw Washington, Atlanta, the Mets. I don't think any of those teams match up.
They're all very good. Blue Jays are right there with them.
How many times have we seen teams leave this ballpark shaking their heads at the offense the Blue Jays throw at you? It's the best in baseball.
Certainly is.
Took a close pitch. It's 2-2.
You know, all that talk early on in the season that the American League East is weak, and you know anybody can win it. I think it's going to be a dogfight all the way to the end of the season.
That's bounced off into center field as Reyes reaches for it and flies out to center. Let's go back and look at the last month of play among the AL East teams. Blue Jays 18-6. They have a lead over the Yankees from the 24th of May forward. Tampa Bay 5 games over the Orioles, and then the Red Sox. And it sounds as though things might change there in Boston. They are 30-39, 3-7 in their last 10.
No one's calling any of those teams weak right now. There's some good teams. They're getting healthy. Some of the teams are getting healthy, getting their players back.
Everybody on this Blue Jays club making a contribution. John Gibbons has done a nice job of making sure nobody sits too long. Regulars get ample rest, keeping everybody sharp. Up the middle, Flaherty backhands, throws over his shoulder offline. Donaldson has a base hit. Flaherty has good range at second. He ranged to the shortstop side of the bag, but he had a desperate throw and it was late.
Look where the ball is and where Flaherty starts. He's got long strides, so he covers a lot of ground. Long arms to reach that ball. He really couldn't make a strong throw to get Donaldson over at first base. So 2 outs, a base hit. Now you get Bautista at the plate.
Another pop-up. Boy, Blue Jays are having a tough time with that high strike.
Have not been able to get on top of it.
Blue Jays have 4 hits. The Orioles have 3. Another pop-up. This one down the left field foul line. Machado has room, makes the catch on the warning track. The Jays will leave a base runner. We head to the 6th. And here comes the Home Hardware Cleanup Crew. It's brought to you by Natura, Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
Time to give away another prize. We say congratulations to Sean. You've just won an autographed Blue Jays jersey. There's more prizes all weekend long. Just tweet a selfie with Dad using hashtag #CelebrateDad for a chance to win. Buck?
That's a cool picture. They got all their Blue Jay hats. They got a Blue Jay bat, baseball. Father-son enjoying their Blue Jays moment. Mark Burley is having quite an afternoon. He has a 2-1 lead.
Mentioned that this was a milestone start for Mark Buehrle. It's his 500th big league game. It's also his 475th career start. Places him 61st all-time in career starts. You know who the leader is? Cy Young. 815 starts in the major leagues. Number 2, Nolan Ryan, 773 starts in the major leagues.
Did Cy have a pitch count?
I don't think they had those back then, did they?
No, he pitched whenever they needed him to, that's for sure.
So Mark Buehrle, this is a 475. He's a little over halfway to Cy Young's record.
Fly ball to center field. Pilar over into the alley in right center. Makes the pitch. Kevin Joseph goes down. 10 straight now set down by Buehrle. Kevin Gausman had his stretch broken with a infield base hit. He sat down 11 in a row before Donaldson had the infield hit. Back to the top of the order. You see, Manny Machado jumped back from that inside pitch, and a lot of hitting coaches will talk about that. How you make a hitter move their feet. It takes them a while to regain the comfort level in the box. Just a subtle move takes him out of his foothold.
Get that toe hold right there at home plate. So what does Mark Buehrle do? He goes outside. After moving him off the plate, goes outside again. You get those right-handers leaning out over the plate, anticipating that ball outside. That's when Mark busts them inside.
What's his broken bat quota for a good outing?
When he was younger and he threw it harder, he said, I needed 5 bats. I needed to break 5 bats a game. Then I knew that I had a good cutter working. He has gotten a couple this afternoon.
When you look at Mark Buehrle, you forget about the fact he's thrown a perfect game and a no-hitter. When you look at the pitchers that have thrown multiple no-hitters, of course, Nolan Ryan has thrown 7, Koufax threw 4. Ground ball, Reyes dives, it's past him into left field. So Buehrle's streak of 10 straight retired is snapped by Manny Machado's single with 1 out here in the 6th.
And Buehrle has a major league record in retiring consecutive batters. You mentioned the 10 that was just snapped right there. He's got the major league record, 45 consecutive batters retired. That was back in 2009.
One out. Travis Snyder, the left fielder. Buehrle is the only pitcher in baseball history to have thrown multiple no-hitters and earned more than 1 Gold Glove. And he and Bob Gibson are the only pitchers to throw a no-hitter and win a Gold Glove in the same season. Special company.
Yeah, and you look at him and you say, how does he get it done? He's a good athlete.
He's a very good athlete. And he loves to play baseball. Snyder hits it off the end of the bat. Hitters will call Mark Buehrle a comfortable 0 for 4. You go up there and nothing's really intimidated, but you can never square him up.
You break your bat, you hit it off the end of the bat, you pop it up, you ground out. You're frustrated all afternoon long.
This is trouble. A little flare down the left field line. That's a fair ball, and it'll bounce into the seats out of play. Manny Machado will stop at third. Travis Snyder has his 2nd hit of the afternoon. He just dropped it down there in no man's land inside the left field foul line, and it bounced into the seats for a ground rule double.
Can't defend that. Nothing to defend a pitch like this. It's a decent pitch. You can see he makes him reach for it. It's an inside out swing. Can't put a guy on the line right there, so it's an extra base hit. And now some decisions to make right here. You got a base open. You got a hot hitter against Mark Buehrle on deck.
Delman Young has hit Buehrle well throughout their careers. Adam Jones is a tough out as well.
You know, this happened in Baltimore back in May. The same type of situation. They walked Adam Jones intentionally to face Delman Young against Mark Buehrle. He got a double play. That was in the 6th inning in that game, a game that the Blue Jays won 10-2.
Now they're going to put him on. After missing with the first 2 pitches, John Gibbons has called for the intentional walk to set up that scenario. Put the double play in order.
You and I remember when that happened in Baltimore, we were looking at each other and it's like, facing Delman Young, this guy's hitting like 400 against Mark Buehrle in his career, but he grounded into a 4-6-3 double play, got out of that inning.
Buehrle pitched against the Orioles in spring training, and after his outing, he joined us from the dugout. And we asked him about Delman Young. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I know what his numbers are. He has hit me very well throughout his career." Young spent some time with the Twins, same division as the White Sox, and he pops this one up. Reyes goes out. Colabello comes in. Tagging at third is Machado, and they're going to test Colabello's arm. Throw is on time, and he slides under the tag. Russell Martin protesting, and he wants to have a look at it. Martin felt Machado slide into it and immediately asked John Gibbons in the dugout to have a look at it. Colabello made a pretty good throw.
It was accurate. They got a little something on it right there. Russell Martin is standing right in front of home plate. You be the judge right here. Here comes Machado. Here comes the throw. It's one hop right to the catcher. And I think he's safe.
Yeah, he looks safe.
Right between the legs of Russell Martin. It's a good call.
Well, this is where catchers have the opportunity to block the plate.
Yep.
Once you receive the baseball, giving the base runner an opportunity to slide, you can block the plate. And if Martin blocks the plate there, he probably keeps Machado from scoring. But because the mindset is totally different now with the new implementation of the rules, you can't have a home plate collision. I think a lot of times the catchers fail to block the plate when they have the right to.
Just blocking the plate, just anchor that foot, drop that shin guard down. They slide right into your shin guard, but on that replay, you could see that Russell is straddling home plate like an infielder would over a bag. And that opens up a little doorway for the base runner to slide right between his legs. And by the time the tag is applied, he's safe. There it is right there. See how he's straddling home plate? And that's an easy call.
The call on the field will be upheld by the video review. Ruling on the field stands. So it's a 2-2 game. Delman Young credited with the sacrifice fly. His 16th RBI of the season. Travis at second. Travis Snyder. Adam Jones is at first. Two down for Chris Davis. One ball and two strikes to Chris Davis.
Just not allowing him to extend those arms. You can see the .218 batting average. We got plenty of power. 14 home runs, 39 driven in, and it looked like Buehrle's staying inside on him.
Now it's 2-2. Another good ball game between these two ball clubs. Blue Jays won 5-4 last night. And there's a pitch off the plate. It's a full count. There are 2 outs. Both runners will break on the pitch. Snyder at second, Jones at first. There they go. Pulled foul by Davis. Strikes out Davis to end the inning. But the Orioles on the sac fly by Delman Young have tied it up 2-2.
Ignite celebrates Father's Day, and we have another prize to give away. Congratulations to Brian Colley. You've just won an autographed Blue Jays jersey. There are more prizes all weekend long. Just tweet a selfie with Dad using hashtag #CelebrateDad for a chance to win. And Buck, that kind of reminds me of what you must have gone through when you were at your little vacation out in the water.
That's right. Casey and I had a chance to spend some great time together over the last few days. It was great. A pre-Father's Day adventure. 2-2 ball game. We head to the bottom of the 6th. The new pitcher in for the Orioles. Chaz Rowe takes over for Kevin Gausman, who made his first start since coming off the disabled list.
What a find Chaz Rowe has been for the Baltimore Orioles. Last pitched 3 days ago. Got 2 key outs in that game down in Philadelphia. He has now allowed just 2 runs in 16 innings since he was called up. That was on May the 24th.
Kevin Gausman pitched very well in his return to the active roster. Held the Blue Jays to 2 runs and 4 hits. He'll end up with a no decision.
And there are the numbers that I was talking about for Chaz Rowe. 11 games recalled from their AAA team on May the 24th. Pounding that strike zone. He's not walking anybody.
Chaz Rowe began his career with the Colorado Rockies. He was a first-round pick in 2005. Then he bounced around a little bit, showed up in Arizona in the major leagues in 2013, appeared in 21 games, all in relief. Last year, with the Yankees for 3 games. The Orioles signed him as a minor league free agent. Last year, the Yankees picked him up on the August 31st trade deadline, just prior to final month of the season. It's a high fly ball. Travis Snyder, the left fielder, coming in a few steps now. One down.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Great afternoon to jump on the ferry over at Center Island, come across, bring your bike over and have a good ride downtown. Make your way over to Rogers Center. Beautiful afternoon, a lot of people out and about. And a great attraction it is to have Center Island so close. A lot of people make that trip every weekend.
I love going over there and just kind of hanging out, riding bikes. And it's a great view back at the city, too.
Chris Colabello. He's gone 0 for 2. Rolls over on that fastball. It's 2-1.
Tough to get the ball in the air against this guy. He's only given up 1 home run in the last year and a half. Sinker slider
to David Ortiz on the 11th of June. Had a long stretch of homerless games going all the way back to last September.
Sinker slider. Pretty astute pickup by the Orioles. He said he was signed as a minor league free agent. And a pretty good bullpen. The Baltimore Orioles just got another pretty good arm.
Zach Britton is their closer. The left-hander has made the transition from starter to closer. And Tommy Hunter's down there. Darren O'Day, a very effective right-hander as well. Tommy Hunter appeared in the game last night. Pitched the quiet inning in the 8th. Set up that rally by the Orioles in the 9th, but they fell a run short. Full count to Colabello. Colabello strikes out for a second time. That's just the second strikeout of the afternoon for the Orioles.
Goes with the fastball. Stays with it. You can see four-seamer right on the outside part of the plate. It's a good pitch. Down and away.
Catcher Russell Martin batting with 2 outs. Boy, there's a lot of movement on that fastball from Rowe. Gausman throws a little bit harder, but he doesn't have that same dramatic sink.
Not that kind of two-seamer right there. And his slider looks pretty good, too. Breaking ball that goes away from the right-handers.
You know, we mentioned Gausman's coming back from shoulder tendonitis, and he was put on the DL on the 8th of May. Here we are, the 20th of June, making his first start. So that's the kind of timetable I'm afraid that the Blue Jays are looking at with Aaron Sanchez.
I'm with you on that one. And it's not so much the injury. His is described as a lat strain. Gausman had the tendonitis in the shoulder. It's when you're down and you're resting, it takes that longer to get back into playing shape, to get back.
When you miss that much time in the middle of the season, it generally takes about a day for each day you're down. to work yourself back into pitching shape again.
Yeah, so if you are off where you can't throw a ball for 3 weeks, figure at least 3 weeks then to get back into shape, maybe even more.
Well, most clubs are going to err on the side of caution with young pitchers like Gausman and Sanchez.
Give him a little extra time. Gausman made 3 rehab starts down in the minor leagues to get his pitch count back up, and still was only good enough for 5 innings today.
Full count to Russell Martin. Broken bat, fly ball to left, carrying a long way, and it's off the wall. Martin is headed for second. That ball sailed on Snyder. He probably reacted to the broken bat and didn't expect the ball to carry all the way to the wall and left.
He was probably anticipating, after he sees that bat shattered in the hands of Russell Martin, that he was going to have to come in. Watch this, two-seamer right on the label. It just shatters the bat. It ends up all the way out at third base. So as an outfielder, you're saying, okay, I got to come in and make that play. But that ball was all the way to the wall in left field. Short hops the wall.
A 2-out double, number 13 for Martin.
That was a little bit like the Manny Machado double in the first inning. Ball kept carrying.
Yonder Navarro with a chance to put the Blue Jays out in front. Navarro's just 1 for 13 this season with runners in scoring position. This is just his 56th at bat. The hamstring injury had him on the shelf.
And they're not even going to deal with it. Even though those numbers, he's still a good hitter. And they're going to play percentages here. Walk the left-hander with first base open and take your chances with Kevin Pillar.
It's an interesting move, but probably the percentage move. So Navarro will take the intentional walk. Kevin Pillar has a broken bat single back in the second. He's lined out to second base in the fourth. And when you look at his splits, he's actually had a higher batting average against right-handed pitching than against lefties. Batting .367 against the righties, 267 against righties, 259 against lefties. Real missed with that breaking ball. He wanted it down and away and caught the inside corner.
It looked like Kevin was taking that pitch all the way just to get a feel for what Rowe has right there. Backup breaking ball. Early in the count, pick one of them. Pick the two-seamer and sit on that, or pick the breaking ball and sit on that. Another bad breaking ball.
Pillar asking if it was off the plate inside. The home plate umpire Gabe Morales indicating not. Pitch trackers suggest they were on the inside corner. 0-2, 2 outs. It's a 2-2 game. Finally got that breaking ball where he wanted it and strikes out Pillar. Blue Jays will leave a pair. We'll move to the 7th. It's a tie game.
comfort zone are guests of TD. And if you can't get a TD seat, consider a Blue Jays Flex Pack. You pick the game seats and you save money. The deadline to purchase a 2015 Flex Pack is Friday, June 26th. Go to BlueJays.com for more. Buck?
Great opportunity to come out and enjoy the great weather and the good baseball. Blue Jays are trying to make it 10 straight wins here at the Rogers Center. 46,018 on hand. Another packed house for Junior Jays Saturday. Tomorrow on Father's Day, Blue Jays expect the same type of crowd. Mark Burley knotted up in a 2-2 tie. Ezequiel Carrera has come off the bench to take over defensively in left field for Chris Colabello. And he's going to get some action right away. Nolan Raimo with the leadoff single. Munenori Kawasaki has rejoined the Blue Jays. He came and was activated last night. He comes out in between innings as the catcher, give Russell Martin an opportunity to put his catcher's gear on. Mooney can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you got to be ready to do that. Came out Navarro, who has been doing it all afternoon, was on base. And Russell Martin was also on base, so they needed Mooney to step in and help out.
This is J.J. Hardy. Hardy had his 11-game hit streak snapped last night. He went 0 for 4 in that game. He has grounded out twice, once to the shortstop, once to the third baseman. Really, he'll take one more ground ball right here.
Yeah, anywhere, left side, right at an infielder.
Ground ball, foul, outside line. Munenori Kawasaki rejoined the Blue Jays yesterday from AAA, and he goes through an entire regimen of exercises and drills before anybody else gets on the field. Just get himself ready.
He's here early. 2:30. He's out there stretching, going through his exercise program. We might even see him join in the soccer game on the roads. Blue Jays players come out and kick the soccer ball around a little bit to get loose.
Yeah, he was out yesterday kicking it around early. Yana Navarro, Russell Martin, Bautista, they all get involved. Pretty good way to get loose and have a little fun before batting practice starts. Another fly into the seats.
J.J. Hardy's been swinging a hot bat for the Baltimore Orioles, and Blue Jays have pitched him tough.
Always a dangerous hitter. He's got extra base pop. Nice play by Martin. Keep that double play in order. Bo Schultz is loosening up for the Blue Jays. Off the plate. Roberto Osuna also throwing with Schultz. It's a fly ball deep to right. Bautista going back, tagging at first is Reimold. Bautista makes the catch, and Reimold slides in, and now the ball gets away, but Burley's there to back it up. Ball may have hit Reimold as he slid into second and got away, but Burley backing up the play as he always does.
You know what? You don't see that very often. A runner tagging up from first base to go to second on a fly ball to right field, but the scouting reports out there about Jose, he's just not throwing like he normally does. And the Orioles, they're always on top of little things like this. Fly ball to right field right away. Wayne Kirby, the first base coach, tells Reimold to tag up. And he's able to stay out of double play with that heads-up base running.
The heads-up play by Burley. ensures that Reimold doesn't move any further beyond second. And Flaherty checks his swing and fouls it back. Ground ball pulled to first, and Encarnacion will go to the bag. Flaherty's retired. Reimold moves to third on the ground out. So now it's Burley against Caleb Joseph. The Orioles catcher 0 for 2 against Mark so far this afternoon.
Another excellent outing for Burley last time out. No decisions, 7 innings against the Mets, 1 earned run. And a no decision, trying to get through 7 again.
Said back-to-back no decisions after winning 2 straight to start that run. He beat the Twins in Minnesota on the 29th of May, then beat the Nationals in Washington in back-to-back complete games.
I think it's a big at bat for him right here. It might be his last at bat.
Manny Machado is 2 for 3. He scored both Oriole runs today, and they might not let Burley face Machado a 4th time. Right on the corner.
A little something extra right there.
Ground ball to third. Donaldson takes his time. Burley's out of it. Caleb Joseph grounds out to third. The Orioles leave a base runner. And Burley has 7 strong innings once again.
Ballot. The game goes July 14th, and you can help make Edwin Encarnacion, Jose Bautista, Russell Martin, and Josh Donaldson starters. But you have to go out and vote. Go to BlueJays.com. You can vote a maximum of 35 times per email address. As of right now, Donaldson is as close as we can get to a starter, but he's still 1.5 million votes behind Mike Moustakas for the starting job at third base. And if you don't want 8 Orioles starting in the game, it's up to you to get out and vote and get some of those Blue Jays on the starting squad. Buck?
That's a good point, Barry. The Orioles have dominated the All-Star voting since it was first announced, and got a chance to put Josh Donaldson in that starting lineup. Brad Brock is the third Oriole pitcher to work here this afternoon. Chaz Rowe had a good inning. Now he'll turn things over to Brad Brock.
Another one of those fine arms out of the bullpen for the Baltimore Orioles. They rank third in the American League in relief pitching earned run average. He's got a good arm. Can't throw a ball straight. Fastball, sinker, slider type of pitcher. He's got some tailing action on that fastball, and he really throws across his body. A lot of deception in his delivery.
A little bit of a herky-jerky delivery. Number 9 hitter Ryan Goins leads things off. He's popped out twice to the third baseman. Beats it on the ground. Big hop for Flaherty at second. 1 out. The drive of the game is brought to you by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Our drive of the game this afternoon is this double from Jose Reyes. First inning, he rips this pitch down into the corner. He will come around to score on a sacrifice fly by Encarnacion. He drives that ball right down the line. How about another one right here from Reyes to get it started in the 7th?
Reyes coming into this game over his last 15 games, batting .313. He's been a real table setter, top of the order. Ball is driven in the air, but Nolan Reimel has plenty of room. The center fielder makes the catch. And Josh Donaldson had an infield single in the 5th. A ground ball to the shortstop side of second. Ryan Flaherty was playing him pull. He made the play but couldn't throw out Donaldson. Good fastball down and away.
Tough on the right-handers, the way you mentioned it, herky-jerky, stepping across his body. Steps at third base and then fires cross action. It's got to be tough on right-handers, and he throws hard. 96 with that fastball.
Right-handers hitting .218, lefties hitting just 186. He's tough. It's a good bullpen, as you mentioned. That one got away from him.
Little quick pitch action right there from Brock. And you can see Josh Donaldson talking to the home plate umpire about that. Totally legal, nobody on base.
The Blue Jays won a one-run game last night, 5-4. Tied at 2 here, and Donaldson hits it into the seats. Blue Jays playing with so much confidence. They've won 14 of the last 16 games they've played. They're 14-3 in the month of June. And Donaldson strikes out. Good inning for Brad Brock. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the 8th. It's still a 2-2 game. presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Mark Burley with another good start here this afternoon will end up with a no decision. His 7 strong innings. He scattered 6 hits, allowed 2 earned runs, walked a batter, and struck out 5. Very efficient and effective outing for Burley.
Very effective against the team, the Baltimore Orioles, who came in here a hot team, hot hitting, a lot of home runs. The Orioles. So Burley does his job. He gives them 7 innings. You mentioned the no decision, another one for him. Now Roberto Osuna, for the 30th time this season, will take over here. He pitched in yesterday's ball game, just threw a third of an inning. Retired the first batter he faced on a strikeout, then single hit by pitch, and he was actually thrown out of the game after he hit Adam Jones. So he will get the top of the order to lead off the 8th.
Manny Machado, 2 hits so far. He had a leadoff double to start the game, and he has scored both of the Orioles' runs. Osuna has worked against the Orioles frequently early in the season. Manny Machado is 2 for 2 against him. He missed his spot, and Machado fouls it off the umpire's mask.
Certainly has enough fastball to get it upstairs against Machado. Unfazed last night when he got pitched. Right?
Just walked right off the field after he was ejected for hitting Adam Jones. .97. He has maintained his velocity from day one. There's Jones standing in the dugout. He will bat 3rd this inning. Travis Snyder has singled and doubled. Machado strikes out. Mark Burley, on the day he starts, will talk to media before the game. He'll mix it up with his teammates, and he's having a good time with Deanna Navarro, who caught him exclusively last season. And Mark Burley's had another good outing. He's having some fun with Navarro.
Hey, that's why everybody loves him. You know, he was very popular when he was in Chicago. He's been very popular here. And Mark's not like those other pitchers that you see on game day. He'll talk to you. I mean, it's just another day to him.
Today, he pitched in his 500th game. And he did himself proudly.
Next up on that list for starts for Mark Burley, Kevin Brown and Catfish Hunter. He can tie them the next time he takes them out for most starts in Major League Baseball history.
Pretty good pitch just off the inside corner. Mark Burley is not about all of the flash and dash. You see the celebration after Colabello hit a home run, and he says, come on, just give me a hug. Let's keep it old-fashioned. He didn't want to get involved in all the gyrations and congratulatory hand slaps. That's going to fall safely in left field. Travis Snyder has a 3-hit afternoon. Jose Bautista will bat leadoff in the 8th, and wouldn't you know it, Darren O'Day Bautista and O'Day, they are the root of the bad blood between these two ball clubs.
Yeah.
And they're going to get another opportunity.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen in the bottom of the inning. I'd like to see Jose hit with the score tied. First things first, Snyder's over at first base, and now Adam Jones has got to deal with Roberto Osuna. David Lowe has come in to pinch run for Travis Snyder.
Lowe has some speed. Not a real base stealing threat. Lowe is one stolen base. He's been caught 4 times. Mighty cut from Jones. Adam Jones continues to deal with that sore right shoulder. He injured it diving on Monday. He missed 3 straight games totally and has served as the DH in the first 2 games of this series.
Was in the original lineup yesterday in center field. If he can't go, you know he's injured. This guy plays every inning of every game.
Ball and a strike to Jones. Jones had a big base hit in the 9th inning last night. Drove in 2 to make it a 5-4 game.
This is where the good teams are able to ramp it up just a little bit. Close ball game, 8th, 9th inning. The good teams can really refocus, have good at bats. Or if you're pitching, make that pitch to get out of the inning.
The Orioles were being shut out 5-0 until the 8th. Last night they scored 2 in the 8th and 2 more in the 9th. Jones strikes out.
Roberto Osuna saying, you know what? Here's my fastball. If I'm going to get beat, I'm going to get beat with my best pitch. So he just reaches back for a little something extra, comes right over the top and throws a fastball by Jones.
2 strikeouts for Osuna. Delman Young, the right fielder, had a sac fly in the 6th. That tied the game at 2-2. It's a high fly ball into shallow right. Goins calls for it. He goes out, makes the catch. The inning is over. The Orioles leave a base runner. It's 2-2. We head bottom of the 8th. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker. want a little more drama? We've got it for you. Darren O'Day is into the ball game against Jose Bautista, and his history goes back a couple years.
Yeah, if you haven't been paying attention, this is 2013. O'Day strikes him out, skips off the mound, has something to say to Jose Bautista next night. Slider, see you later, home run. Bautista's revenge, that ball down the left field line. And he has something to say to Darren O'Day as he makes his way towards home plate. And then this year behind the back of Bautista. So what does Jose do? Slider one more time. So he skipped and has something to say to O'Day and takes him deep. So Jose Bautista has been in a lot of things. And what did you learn from watching that right there? Don't throw him a slider. And Darren O'Day has been hot. 27 games, 2-0 with a 104 earned run average. He hasn't allowed a run, just 2 of them over his last 24 innings.
David Lowe takes over in center field as Nolan Raimo moves from center to left. Lowe came in as a pinch runner. Bautista against O'Day. There's a fastball. Bautista has 4 career home runs against Darren O'Day. In 16 at-bats, he has 5 hits overall, 4 of them left the yard. The most home runs he's hit against an individual pitcher is 5. He's hit 5 home runs against David Price, 5 against James Shields, and 5 against John Lester. They're all starters.
They're all starters, and they're all from the American League East. So he's got plenty more at-bats against Darren O'Day. I don't think he has 10 at-bats against him.
Slider off the end of the bat. That's going to sneak through for a base hit. So Bautista's aboard. He represents the go-ahead run.
He did throw him a slider. I can't believe it. The home runs were off of breaking balls. He throws him another one, and what does Jose do? He takes him right back through the middle. That was his 17th at-bat in his career, so he's had a few more than I thought. It's a slider off the end of the bat, and it squibs right past the second baseman Flaherty out in center field.
As much damage as Bautista's done against O'Day, Edwin Encarnacion is just 1 for 12 against the right-hander. He drove in the run in the first to tie it at 1-1. That's a little bear flare. That's going to drop. Bautista will go around second. He's going to score. Now they're going to stop him. When Lowe had the ball bounce over his head, Louis Rivera was waving Bautista home. But then Lowe recovered quickly and got the ball back in.
Ball didn't bounce very far away from Lowe out in center field. If this ball gets by him, Encarnacion's on second, Bautista's going to score. It's off the end of the bat. Another slider, and you can see how deep the outfield's playing. It bounces over his head, but it doesn't go very far. Bautista giving a good effort into third base, but then has to stop. As he reads that ball is going to get down. Good job right there. Takes one more quick look over his shoulder and sees that ball gets away from the center fielder, but quickly recovers, and now first and third, nobody out.
J.J. Hardy did something very unusual right there. The umpire at second, Lance Barrett, was positioned in front of second base to get in position for a double play call. Hardy went over and asked him if he could play behind the base to eliminate any possibility the umpire would get involved in the play at second. So Hardy, always thinking, asked the umpire to move back, and Barrett, when he moved back, let the umpires on the wings know he was behind second. Interesting move. Ezequiel Carrera came into the game defensively. He's at the plate for the first time. Outside.
Here's that bubble one more time. He gets close to the ball. Gets it in his glove, but you can see it doesn't go very far. Just one bounce off the carpet, and he recovers quickly to keep Encarnacion at first base and keeps Bautista at third.
Infield is shortened up now after the first pitch. Outside. They're even closer than normal double play depth. If they get a slowly hit ball, they'll probably come home. It's an interesting alignment.
Do you automatically go at third base on a ground ball?
Yes, I think so. Three and oh. Russell Martin is on deck. Taking all the way. It's now 3-1. The lines score identical. 2-7-0 for both clubs. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Carrera's been a good clutch hitter. There you see these teams evenly matched once again today.
Might have been ball 4.
Upstairs.
That's where O'Day likes to go, especially with 2 strikes, that high fastball. You're not anticipating it up there as a batter. When a guy throws that submarine delivery like he has right there, like O'Day has, he's got that knack of getting it up at the top of the strike zone, and you're not used to that from a guy who comes from down under like that.
Fly ball deep near the foul pole, but that's going to sail into the second deck. He hit it a long way. He shortened up his stroke, put the bat on the ball, and
straighten it out. Boy, that ball was hit hard. Looking for something up there so he can get it into the outfield.
Another 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, that'll load the bases. Russell Martin hit a double his last time up, a broken bat double that went off the wall in left. Martin has 4 career grand slams.
This is where you really close off that left side right here.
Slider on the corner. The Orioles outfield, they have 22 assists. They throw well. Nolan Raimo moved from center to left. Lowe came in as a pinch runner. He is in center. Delman Young has 8 outfield assists. Second in the majors to Avisail Garcia, who has 9. Got a pitch to drive to the outfield.
That's where he's going to go one more time with 2 strikes. He likes to have that riser in the upper parts of the strike zone. It's a tough combination, especially for a right-handed batter. That sidearm fastball and then that sidearm slider. You're going to have to pick one out here.
One and 2. Fouls it back. Since the 29th of April, the Orioles bullpen has the best earned run average in the majors, 196. And it's a full complement of good arms.
Lefties, righties, side armors. There's the newest member of the bullpen. Michael Gibbons just called up today. a little bit of everything. And they got side armor right now, Darren O'Day. They got him on the ropes. They got to deliver that knockout punch.
Upstairs for the strikeout. He mentioned that high fastball. That's where he'll go when he needs a strikeout.
And it's very rare. You don't see guys who come from down under like he does like that being able to elevate the fastball. But O'Day does a good job of it. And he'll go there a lot with 2 strikes on the batter. And as a hitter, it looks so inviting. You think you can hit it a long way.
Gianner Navarro has gone 1 for 2. He was given a free pass in the 6th. He's got a pair of grand slams to his credit. Navarro had a sacrifice fly last night in the 3rd inning. He drove in the decisive 5th run for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have been such a good clutch hitting team. They lead the majors in batting average with runners in scoring position.
Time to clutch up right here. The infield now can take a couple of steps back after that strikeout to Russell Martin. You can see the middle infield. They're going to go for 2. And this is where Carrera could really get off of first base and try to break up a double play.
There's a deep drive. Stay fair. Stay fair. Just foul. Boy, he got the head out on that thing and just hooked it foul.
Gibby's going to take a look at this one.
Well, he's got the best seat in the house to determine fair or foul to right. And he asked Gabe Morales to have a little conference about it, and he's going to go visit.
That ball was scalded right there from Navarro. Ball up. Plenty of distance. Just a matter of fair or foul. Jose over at third base thought that might have been a fair ball. He thought it was a home run. He's like, wait a minute.
Well, he sure did, and now he's questioning Louis Rivera and the umpires after a short conference. Will go to the replay. So the play on the field is a foul ball. The call is under review. Dale Scott on the left is the crew chief, and he is joined over there by C.B. Buckner, the umpire at third, the 2 senior umpires on this staff.
Yeah, Dale Scott is the crew chief, so he was the one who made the call.
It was a tough call. Take a look at it as it hooks. Can't really tell where it passed that foul pole. And the umpires have a quick decision, and the call on the field will stand. Foul ball.
Foul ball. Watch it. That's not behind it.
So we'll do it all over again. The count is 1-2 to Gianner Navarro. Boy, you were right on. He was looking for that pitch up.
He likes to go there with 2 strikes. Up.
Strikes out. O'Day struck out Martin. Now he strikes out Navarro. 2 outs. Navarro came within inches of a grand slam and then strikes out. Now it's up to Kevin Pillar. First pitch slider in a great spot.
Yeah. Kevin struck out last time against Chaz Rowe on a slider just like that, down and away. So you can look for it and maybe punch it to right field for a base hit.
The Blue Jays batting with runners in scoring position in 2 outs as a club have hit 292. Very high mark. That's the second highest in baseball.
It's concentration. That's having a plan when you go to that batter's box and having an idea what that guy's trying to do to you. Another breaking ball. Another pitch away.
Told you the line scores are identical, 2-7-0 for both teams. They're also both 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Millar flings the bat all the way back to the backstop.
That's a helpless feeling right there, isn't it? You swing the bat and it's gone. Got to get a little bit more stick on that bat.
Like a sword fighter without his sword. 1 ball, 2 strikes, a tie game, 2-2. Job by Darren O'Day. He strikes out the side and leaves the bases loaded in the 8th. Back-to-back singles to start the inning. The Blue Jays can't cash in.
Congratulations to Harris. You've won an autographed Blue Jays jersey. We'll have more prizes tomorrow as well. Just tweet a selfie with Dad using the hashtag #CelebrateDad for a chance to win. Buck?
It's a great picture, father and son at Fenway Park prior to the game. Lots of smiles there. Father's Day is tomorrow. Come on out and join us here at Rogers Center. It should be another gorgeous day. Big crowd on hand this afternoon. And they've been treated to a whale of a ball game. It's 2-2. We head to the 9th. Aaron Loop into the game.
Last time Aaron worked, that was on Wednesday. Against the Mets, he faced one batter. Lucas Duda got him to foul out. He has been a hot pitcher for the Blue Jays lately. He will get Davis, Reimel, and Hardy here in the 9th inning. Loop has only given up one earned run over his last 14 outings.
The bullpen has really come together over this recent hot stretch for the Blue Jays. Starting pitching has been good, and as a result, the workload has been reduced for the bullpen, and they have responded accordingly. Strike 2 to Chris Davis.
Ooh.
That hit Martin on the inside of the knee, I believe. He went down to block it and then caromed up and hit Chris Davis, but that got him flush on the inside of his knee.
Just couldn't get the glove on that ball. Slider, you never know where that ball's going to bounce. Stays down. It looked like it hit him on the instep.
Hit him in the ankle, yeah. He got a pad over that ankle bone, but it got an awful lot of that bone. Over Ryan Goins into right. Chris Davis, his 4th hit against Aaron Loop. He is 4 for 8 against the left-hander.
That slider stayed a little bit too much on the plate. Loop's been getting it on the outside part of the plate. Catches too much of the plate. And Chris Davis hits it just out of the reach of Goins for a leadoff single here in the 9th.
Nolan Reimold started in center field, moved to left field defensively when Lowe came into the game as a pinch runner.
What's wrong with that? That was right there. Aaron Loop, what they've been trying to do with him, they don't want him to fall off so much towards first base. You can see he's got a very deceptive delivery where he steps towards first. He gets in trouble when he falls off towards first base too much.
Reimold hits it down the right side.
They want to keep him on line just a little bit more. That makes his fastball just a little bit better. It makes his slider just a little bit better. And he's been throwing the ball really well.
In the dirt. Two balls, 2 strikes, top of the 9th. Strike 3. Reimold knew it. He just couldn't pull the trigger.
Pete Walker was saying the other day that Aaron Loop is in the best shape of his career, and it's made his fastball a lot better. And I think Nolan Reimold can attest to that. That ball right there reaches back for a little something extra and surprises him with the fastball for his first strikeout.
He really gets that ball inside effectively to the right-handed hitters. J.J. Hardy is 0 for 7 so far in this series. He came in riding an 11-game hit streak. That was snapped last night. Hits it on the ground. Donaldson goes to second. Goins won't have time for a return throw. So Hardy grounds into the fielder's choice, 5-4, 2 outs now. Orioles bullpen, we mentioned they're the hottest bullpen since the end of April, and Tommy Hunter is the right-hander. The closer, Zach Britton, alongside. Britton has 18 saves.
Hunter if they don't score, Britton if they do score.
Ryan Flaherty stays in against the lefty. Oh, he drilled him. Well, that hit him hard. Luke trying to come inside on the lefty, and Flaherty is down.
Well, those are the kind of balls that just stick in your ribs. Trying to protect that outside part of the plate. He's not going to give an inch to Aaron Loup, and Loup's fastball got away from him and hit him right in the ribs.
Buck Showalter, along with the head trainer Richie Bancel's out to check on Ryan Flaherty.
One more time. Fastball. You see he's trying to stay in there as long as possible. Got him right inside.
Guy hit him just underneath the armpit. He was trying to hang in there against the lefty and can't get out of the way. So now the go-ahead run is at second. J.J. Hardy. Flaherty hit by the pitch. Caleb Joseph. Number 9 hitter is the catcher. First pitch changeup is outside. Joseph has been a very good clutch hitter for the Orioles, batting .375 with runners in scoring position. There's a base hit into center. Hardy's coming around third. Here's the throw from Pilar. It's a good throw, but not in time. Pilar made a strong throw right on the money, but Hardy broke on contact, running with 2 outs, and scores the go-ahead run.
You know, I was watching him at second base. He was getting an excellent secondary lead. With 2 outs, you're running on contact. You can see, watch him jump off there, reads it, see it. He is off on the crack of the bat. One hopper, and he had a shot. But it's offline just a little bit. You can see his momentum taking him away from home plate, and Martin does everything he can, but a nice clutch out. 2-out base hit by Joseph as Hardy scores the tiebreaker right there.
Caleb Joseph picks up the RBI, his 21st of the season. Aaron Loup is out of the game. Manny Machado, a right-handed bat. Ryan Tepera into the game.
internet to select Rogers Ignite bundles. Find out how. Call 1-888-ROGERS-1 now. Hurry. Offer ends soon. Buck.
But another good ball game between these two AL East rivals. Caleb Joseph comes up with a clutch hit with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th to give the Orioles a 3-2 lead.
He was 0 for 4 before that against Aaron Loup in his career. And now it's Ryan Tepera to try to shut this down right here. That is what he has done in 10 games this year. No record with a 292 earned run average. He last worked 3 days ago in that Mets series. Good fastball, good hard slider, a little bit of a split change.
Manny Machado with his first at bat against Tepera. That ball gets away from Martin, but not far enough for Flaherty to break for home. Machado, another 2-hit game this afternoon. Ball is hit to left, and that's going to get down and knock in 2 more runs. Flaherty scores. Right behind him, Caleb Joseph. Manny Machado coming up big with a 2-run double, his 3rd hit of the afternoon.
Tell you, this is when the good teams, they can really take it up a notch. And the Orioles, they did it to the Blue Jays last night. 2 runs in the 8th, 2 runs in the 9th. Picks on that spinning ball right there. Hangs on the middle part of the plate, and he smokes it. He's been a hot hitter. 3 more hits for Machado, 2 more big runs for the Orioles.
There's another ground ball up the middle. Reyes behind second. Throws out David Lowe. The inning is over, but the damage is done. The Orioles score 3 runs. Caleb Joseph, an RBI single. Manny Machado drives in 2 with a double. It's 5-2. Britton into the game, the closer. Some big comebacks in the 9th.
Little 9th inning magic. They were down by a couple of runs to the Astros, and they had a walk-off on a Chris Colabello single to center off of Luke Gregerson. And then Encarnacion's going to get into the act by driving that ball out of here off of A.J. Ramos for a 2-run home run. They would win that game in the bottom of the inning. So another chance here. Maybe there's some magic for the Blue Jays. One more time. It's going to be tough. They got one of the best closers in baseball to deal with in Zach Britton. There are his numbers: 18 for 19 in saves this year, a 163 earned run average, 5 base on balls, basically a fastball that just sinks like crazy, and a slider to try and finish you off.
Danny Valencia will bat for Ryan Goins in the 9th spot, leading off the 9th. Britton, for his career, a perfect 6 for 6 in save opportunities against the Blue Jays.
He'll pound you. He'll pound you with that fastball. It's a bowling ball fastball. That 6 heavy sink action.
Britton was a starter. Couldn't really figure things out. They put him in the bullpen initially just as a relief pitcher, and then he developed so effectively they put him in as the closer.
Started throwing hard again. Hit 98 last year.
Didn't have to be a strike. Might have been off the plate inside. Glenn Perkins of the Twins leads the American League with 23 saves. Houston Street has 20. Then Britton with 18 is third. Pulled on the ground. J.J. Hardy deep and short. Not in time.
Well, that's a start. Infield hit again. A lot of ground balls when Zach Britton's on the mound. Danny Valencia hits it in the perfect place. Right between Machado. Hardy does everything he can to try and get it out, but it's a good start here in the ninth inning. An infield hit.
Big hit for Danny Valencia to turn the lineup over. Now you're at the top of the order. J.J. Hardy is too deep and short to throw him out. Jose Reyes doubled in his first at bat. He's 1 for 4. Checked his swing, and Dale Scott said he went around. Reyes couldn't believe it. Looked like he checked it plenty of time, but Dale Scott brings him up for the swing.
You be the judge. From the side, and he calls it a strike.
Looked like he went around. 0-2. Reyes hits it on the ground. It's past Davis. Reyes beats it to first base. Great hustle by Jose Reyes. A head first slide. The Blue Jays got something going. Valencia got it started, and Reyes follows him with an infield hit.
That might have been the only place where Jose was going to get an infield hit. Davis comes off the bag. That was the whole key right there. Chris Davis, the first baseman, coming off the bag, and then no chance for the Orioles to pour the out over at first base. Reyes is going to get in a foot race with Britton. He's going to win that one every single time. You can see the dive, and he is safe just before he touches the bag, so the first two reach.
Danny Valencia has asked for time. He's tied his shoe at second, so now we're set. Fans get on their feet. Can they do it again? Josh Donaldson. Donaldson's had big hits all season long.
Some guys just have that knack that they can just rise to the occasion. Can the Blue Jays do it again?
Out of play. Bouncing ball to third. Machado will go to first to take the out. Donaldson is retired. The runners move up. And how about this drama? Jose Bautista will stride to the plate representing the tying run.
He has been in the middle of a lot against the Orioles the last couple of years. Fans anticipating something dramatic happening here. Zach Britton has given up 1 home run this year. Tough to get the ball in the air against him.
Bautista, base hit to center. Valencia's in to score. They'll stop Reyes. Bautista, with no one at first, came around the bag, but they'll walk him back to first, and the Blue Jays have scored a run here. Danny Valencia got it started with a pinch hit, base hit.
That ball was hit so hard by Bautista, you can't take a chance at trying to score that runner, not with another threat behind him. First pitch swing, and he smokes that ball to center field. Lowe gets on it quickly, gets it back into the infield quickly.
Bautista's 45th RBI of the season. Encarnacion is 1 for 3 with a sac fly. Crossed him up, threw a breaking ball.
Pulled the string and threw the breaking ball. I say stay on the fastball. You're going to get one from Zach Britton. He's going to challenge you with that hard sinker. Stay on it.
Encarnacion had a walk-off home run June 9th against the Marlins. Donaldson has had 2. 0-2. Time was granted. Justin Smoke has grabbed the bat. He's come out on deck. He'll bat for Carrera. Bouncing ball. Flaherty at second, steps on the bag. Double play. The game is over. The Blue Jays rally falls short in the 9th. Britton picks up his 19th save. And again, the Orioles bullpen stranded the bases loaded in the 8th. Strand 2 here in the 9th.